how's your transition coming? You know, from world's worst villain to world's worst agent?
Oh, that's hilarious.
The Despicable Me franchise has become massively successful since the first film was released in 2010. It has not only brought increased revenue and notoriety to the production company Illumination, but also left an indelible mark on pop culture. The Minions have become a mascot and a notable reference, influencing merchandise and memes and aspiring to spin-off films. Now that the long-awaited Despicable Me 4 has recently premiered in theaters, it's likely that old and new fans alike will flock to the franchise to refresh themselves on the adventures of Gru and his family, including the notable antagonists that they faced off against in the passing years. In today's video, we'll recount the 6 major villains who helped turn Despicable Me into the franchise it is today.
The world! And if anyone tries to stop them.
Number 1. Victor Perkins. Although Gru remains the protagonist in Despicable Me, his actions are less than heroic. He acts as a supervillain determined to steal prominent landmarks, complete with a secret lair, allies like Dr. Nefario, and a group of minions willing to help his cause. However, he finds direct competition with Victor Perkins, also known as Vector, another supervillain who manages to steal the Pyramid of Giza. Gru's jealousy of Vector and his desire to maintain his reputation inspires him to steal the moon. Still, he encounters complications when Vector steals the shrink ray necessary to pull off the heist. As the bank president's son, Vector is in the perfect position to one-up Gru at every turn. As an aspiring supervillain with many achievements under his belt and technological gains, he becomes a significant foe throughout the film, especially when he becomes willing to exploit Gru's new family to get what he wants. In a particular devious move, he kidnaps Margot, Edith, and Agnes after their dance recital to force Gru into bringing the moon to him. He plans to use the moon as a bargaining chip to get the landmarks he had stolen returned in exchange for the girl's safe release. However, a high-stakes confrontation occurs when Vector refuses to comply with Gru's deal. Later, Gru manages to rescue Edith and Agnes by forcefully breaking through the ship's door before saving Margot from Vector. The scene intensifies as Vector desperately tries to attack Gru with his piranha gun, only to be thwarted as the moon unexpectedly crashes into him. The moon, now free from Vector's control, rolls uncontrollably, with Vector helplessly stuck to its surface. The chaotic turn of events takes a dramatic twist as the moon hits a switch, triggering the vehicle's rocket engine, causing it to soar upwards before ultimately shattering with Vector still clinging to the moon's surface. In a final act of defiance, Vector activates an oxygen bubble and remains stranded on the moon, later inspiring a short film.
Not so fast! No!
Let me go!
Number 2. Eduardo Perez. Eduardo Perez owns the Mexican restaurant Salsa and Salsa in the Paradise Mall. Few know he is the notorious El Macho, a well-known bank robber with superhuman strength. The undercover supervillain has returned to hold the world hostage by using the deadly mutagen PX-41 to create indestructible, mindless, and bloodthirsty henchmen willing to do his bidding. Eduardo plans to use the minions to create his henchmen, and with the help of Dr. Nefario, he kidnaps numerous minions such as Phil, Kevin, and Jerry. When Gru discovers Eduardo's lair, he offers to let Gru join their scheme. However, Gru refuses and creates a serum that reverses the minions back to their natural state. With few options left, Eduardo injects himself with the PX-41 to attack Gru. Eduardo transforms into a monster reminiscent of his altered minions. However, after running out of the serum to revert Eduardo to his natural state, Gru must turn to other means and items from his environment to stop his adversary. Although a freezer ray initially fails to stop Eduardo in his agitated state, he's overpowered by Lucy's taser and later overrun by Gru, the minions, and Dr. Nefario, who had rejoined their side.
Men like you, men like me, we should be ruling the world!
Number 3. Balthazar Brat. Although Balthazar Brat is one of the franchise's overarching villains, his most prominent role occurs throughout Despicable Me 3, where his primary motivation is to enact revenge on Hollywood after he falls from stardom. Balthazar was once a child star with his television series Evil Brat. However, the series was cancelled during its 3rd season due to Balthazar going through puberty. Balthazar encounters Gru and Lucy because he becomes one of the most prominent criminals on the Anti-Villain League's most wanted list. As the organization's white whale, Gru gives his all to apprehend Balthazar, motivated by his still new membership to the AVL. Unfortunately, Gru fails to apprehend Balthazar when he tries to steal the world's largest diamond, the DuPont, which allows the villain to escape. This leads to Gru and Lucy getting fired from AVL, making their goal of stopping Balthazar personal. To save his job, Gru teams up with his brother Drew to steal the DuPont diamond from Balthazar. The brothers break into Balthazar's home, and although Balthazar does his best to stop them, he agrees to a dance battle, which ultimately leads to his defeat.
Game over!
Is this what you're looking for?
Number 4. Scarlet Overkill. Scarlet Overkill is a formidable supervillain with a unique sense of style and great ambition. Her goal is to dominate Britain, and she used to be the boss of the Minions before Gru took over. She's also the former enemy of Kevin, Stuart, and Bob. She's the primary antagonist of the spin-off film Minions, which takes place years before the start of the original Despicable Me film. Although she has a change of heart about stealing the Queen's crown at the end of the film, after she receives a miniature one from Bob, she also gives up her vendetta against the Minions. However, she does appear in other films in the franchise as someone much older and still interested in villainy.
Don't you scarlet me, you backstabbing little traitors! Using Herb's invention to steal my crown?
Number 5. Bell Bottom. In the sequel Minions: The Rise of Gru, he and the Minions encounter Bell Bottom, a villain who usurped the leadership of her group, the Vicious Six. Although he's young, Gru aspires to be a world-renowned criminal, but when he meets Bell in prison, she criticizes his desire, claiming he's too young and small to do real damage. He steals her greatest prize, the Zodiac Stone, from her in retaliation. After that, she becomes the film's antagonist, desperate to receive the stolen stone, which ultimately leads to a final confrontation with Gru and Minions, where she uses the stone to transform herself into a dragon. Although she uses the stone to transform the Minions, Kevin, Bob, and Stuart, into other members of the Zodiac, she's ultimately defeated. Gru uses the stone to turn her and the other members of the Vicious Six into rats, allowing them to be easily captured by the AVL. As of Despicable Me 4, Belle is still imprisoned within the AVL prison for her crimes.
For adults who steal powerful ancient stones and wreak havoc.
Number 6. Maxime Le Mal. With every new film in the franchise, another villain rises in power. In the latest film, the newest villain is an old acquaintance of Gru's. Although their history is what causes the central conflict in the film, Maxime Le Mal is a former student of the villain school Lycée Pabot, who seeks revenge on Gru after Gru stole his song at a talent show. Maxime fuses himself with a cockroach to become an unstoppable force of evil, but is outsmarted by Gru and AVL. He breaks out of prison, invents a device to turn people into human roach hybrids, and targets Gru's son. Maxime is contacted by Principal Uberschlecht, kidnaps Gru Jr., and turns him into a human roach hybrid. Gru Jr. eventually turns on him, and Maxime is taken out, falling off a construction area and being trampled by mega minions. Maxime and his girlfriend Valentina are arrested, and Gru visits him in prison, leading to a friendly argument and a duet of the song Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Yes, I know. What did you think, huh? I was going to look like a bold loser with a dad bod?
No popular series would be complete without an antagonist to help spur the plot along. However, Despicable Me is a unique case, as the franchise's primary protagonist begins in the opposing role, working as a supervillain who steals prominent landmarks from around the world. This unique role of Gru in the franchise is what makes the series so intriguing. He's come a long way from someone who desired to steal the moon, but now he has become a caring family man. His history makes every antagonist he encounters more engaging for the audience, as his character can be compared to the franchise's various enemies, charting his growth throughout each addition to the Despicable Me franchise. So far, Gru and his allies have yet to meet their match and are prepared for their next adventure if Despicable Me 5 ever graces the big screen.
Whoa, wait, so our dad was a villain?
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
Okay, well, then maybe you can just use your imagination.
You mean I pretend I have a mom?